the Alliance guys, here to give you some quick results and review of Primetime Live. Our fearless leader, Jay, is on vacation because, he thinks just because it's a holiday, he can take time off and take days out. So, obviously, he's wrong, but still he is gone. And Kevin's finally feeling better. I'm sure he'll make his return next week. But I thought I would give us some reviews of Primetime Live since I finally got to watch it. And I think you might be surprised that I actually really enjoyed the show. Had some very good matches. They actually stayed in the ring. The first match, triple threat elimination style, which if you're going to have a triple threat elimination style, is the way to do it. I don't like the one guy wins or one guy gets pinfall and the match is over. I prefer eliminations if you're going to have a three-way match. I wish there'd been some kind of story behind it as to why we were having a three-way match between these guys. There really wasn't. Good news is that, Dan Joseph beat one of the Meat Candy guys, who I hate that tag team name, and Jordan Clearwater. Seems young, seems green. He was the biggest guy in the match, but there were a couple times he did some stutter steps, especially just before he was eliminated. Overall, though, match was good, hard hitting, got a clean win. The commentators were good in telling us some backstories of, the wrestlers. The fact that Dan Joseph has, lost his last couple of matches where he lost the TV title and he lost his rematch for the TV title. So he really needed this win and it went well for him. Next up was Fred Rosser versus Sean Daivari. Two guys who back in the day would be in their prime wrestling age. I believe Daivari's 36 and Rosser is like 37 or somewhere in through there. So the mid to late 30s. This was a top time for wrestlers. You can tell they're both experienced. They're both veterans. They showed it in the match. May have been the shortest match of the night, but it was a hard-hitting match in which they were able to show their skills and their talents and just really how bad, WWE screws up some of these guys and doesn't use them to their full potential. I don't know, I guess the best thing to say about it, or the best example to talk about, was they did the bump on the ring apron again. And while I do hate that bump and wish they would not do it, with two veterans in there, it was done right. It was a flat back bump. You could tell nobody got hurt. And so, Jim Cornette tells the story of Dusty Rhodes once telling Big Bubba Rogers, "Don't do shit you don't know how to do." You could tell they were both doing things they knew how to do. And it worked out well. Rosser won with the chicken wing crossface, a move that was taught to him by Bob Backlund and WWE. Commentators were, brought that up. They do a good job bringing up the history. I really love the commentators on the show, by the way. A lot of times to me, they're more afterthoughts or annoying. All the ones they use are very good. And, hey, these were the two semifinalists that lost. I don't know what's going on with the tournament. I don't know how bad Dickinson's hurt. Bennett shown back up in ROH. I'm imagining, since there are no house shows and stuff like that, he can still make appearance for United Wrestling Network. But if something happens with either one of those guys where they can't meet in a tournament final here, let's say by January, Rosser would be a good fill-in and has a legitimate, claim to be in the finals if one of them can't make it. So let's hope everything works out and we get the final we're anticipating. But if not, hey, I'm all for Rosser being in there. Next was Lio Rush versus Adrian Quest. Two guys about the same height, about the same weight, around the 165. They make good welterweights if wrestling had weight divisions. Not the biggest fan of Lio Rush. His antics outside of wrestling turn me off, and so it's kind of hard for me to get real excited about him in the ring. Still, both of them put on a very good match. Didn't care for the series of, here, I missed a move, now you're going to miss the same move. That was done kind of at the beginning for 3 or 4 steps. But, it is what it is. The match was hard-hitting. They did do some flying. They did do some flips. They didn't do too many of them. It was also the only match that really had it, so it stood out more. If you're going to book a wrestling show where you got somebody who's kind of a high flyer and does some of the stuff, this is the way you do it. So it was a competitive match between guys of the same size. It was hard hitting for their size. A couple of botches, but hey, it happens, and can't really say anything else, bad about the match. I enjoyed it. So, right now they're 3 for 3 as far as matches that I've enjoyed, and they only have 4 matches on the show. So the final match is Ray Rosas versus Bad Dude Tito. The Championship Wrestling from Hollywood Heritage Championship has never had a 2-time champion, a point they brought up during the show. Now, its predecessor, the NWA Heritage Champion, has only had 1 2-time champion, and that was Adam Pearce, who lost it for 8 days to Sean Waltman. So it's been a hard title to regain, so to speak. And so Bad Dude Tito's a former champion, Ray Rosas is the current champion. 2 guys, they're thick, they got long hair, they got beards. If you didn't know who was who, you probably had a hard time keeping up. But they put on a good match. I mean, they put on a championship level match. They put on a main event quality match. Again, in the ring, I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed this show. It was one of the better ones that they put on, certainly better than the last couple of weeks. But I was very happy with it. I'm looking forward to more when next week for the next show. Hope they do the same thing. And, this type of thing, again, I've said it before, people, if you complain about WWE or AEW or any of the others, big major promotions out there, and you're looking for a true alternative, this is it. Tell your friends. Spread it on the message boards. Support this Primetime Live pay-per-view series. Excuse me. Ate too much. So, anyway, hope you all have had a wonderful Thanksgiving. That's my review of the show. Next, I believe there's a interview that Kevin and Jay did with former NWA World Junior Heavyweight champion Barrett Brown, also scheduled for today. And I'll see you next week. Bye.